They say danger often wears the mask of trust. It hides in the uniforms we believe in, the badges we respect, and the words that sound safe. But what happens when that mask is nothing more than a predator's disguise? Tonight, we unravel one of the most disturbing modern crimes. A case where an innocent child searching for a lost dog was lured into a nightmare by a man posing as animal control. This is the chilling story of Guillermo Cascante, the predator in disguise. The story begins in Highland, California, a suburban city tucked into San Bernardino County. On most days, it feels like any other quiet neighborhood. Kids riding bikes, families walking dogs, the desert air warm against the streets. But beneath this ordinary setting, something sinister was waiting. An 11-year-old girl, full of innocence, love, and determination, was on a simple mission. Her beloved dog had gone missing. Like so many children, she set out with hope, calling out for her pet, searching street by street. She had no idea that someone was watching her every move. Enter Guillermo Cascante, a 57-year-old man who, to outsiders, might look like an aging worker just going about his business. But Cascante wasn't just any man. He drove an old, white, ambulance-style van, unmarked, yet strangely official-looking. And he knew the perfect lie to tell a child. He pulled up alongside the little girl. His voice was calm, practiced deceptive. "I'm with animal control," he said. "I can help you find your dog." For a child desperate to reunite with her lost pet, his words sounded like salvation. He had authority. He had the vehicle. And most dangerously of all, he had patience. He didn't yell. He didn't grab. Instead, he offered hope. And that hope was enough to convince her to climb inside. But once the doors shut, hope turned to horror. Inside that van, Cascante pulled out a handgun. The atmosphere shifted from trust to terror. The girl was trapped, alone, frightened, and powerless. As he drove her through the city, he molested her, turning her search for a missing dog into a nightmare she would never forget. And yet, even in her fear, she would soon find the strength that many adults might not have had. Imagine the courage it takes, at just 11 years old, to run from danger straight into the arms of safety. When the girl escaped and returned home, she did something extraordinary. She told the truth immediately. Many children remained silent, paralyzed by fear or shame. But she knew her parents needed to hear it, and her parents knew the police had to act fast. The investigation began almost instantly. Police officers sat with her, carefully guiding her through a difficult interview. They asked her to describe everything she could remember. She recalled the white van. It wasn't like any normal van. It looked more like an ambulance. That detail stood out. She remembered the man's voice, the way he introduced himself as animal control. She even described the weapon he carried. Investigators began canvassing Highland. They combed neighborhoods, stopping every white van they saw. They checked business lots, garages, and empty fields where vans were sometimes parked. They knew that predators like Cascante often try to blend in. But his vehicle was distinctive, and the little girl's memory was sharp. Meanwhile, word spread in the community. Parents were terrified. On social media, warnings circulated about a suspicious white van. Some parents refused to let their children walk alone. Others demanded extra patrols near schools. The community was shaken to its core. Within days, officers located the van. Parked in a driveway, its faded paint and boxy frame matched the girl's description perfectly. The man who stepped out was Guillermo Cascante. He looked ordinary, tired eyes, weathered skin, the appearance of a man who could have been a delivery driver or a technician. But inside, police believed, was a man capable of unimaginable crimes. They brought him in for questioning. At first, Cascante denied everything. He insisted he was being mistaken for someone else. But investigators were prepared. They had the victim's testimony, corroborating descriptions, and soon, physical evidence from the van itself. The deception was crumbling. As the news broke of his arrest, neighbors were stunned. Many claimed they never suspected him. He was just that guy with the van. But behind closed doors, the facade of normalcy was gone. Cascante had been exposed, and the mask of authority he once hid behind the fake title of animal control, was shattered. And yet, the arrest only deepened the investigation. Detectives wondered, was this the first time? Or had Cascante done this before? The van, the ruse, the method, it felt rehearsed, as though he had used this trap in the past. That terrifying possibility led police to ask the public for more information. Were there other children who had been approached by a so-called animal control officer? Had anyone else seen the van circling? The questions lingered, and the fear spread further. To understand the horror of this case, we must look deeper into who Guillermo Cascante really was. On the surface, he was an older man, fading into the background of society. But predators like Cascante thrive in the shadows. They learn to appear ordinary. They rely on invisibility. Psychologists who study offenders, like him, explain that deception is their most powerful weapon. Cascante didn't rely on brute force, at least not initially. He relied on trust. He understood that children are taught to respect authority. By posing as animal control, he wasn't just offering help. He was taking advantage of a child's natural instinct to believe. And he almost succeeded. This is what makes his crime so chilling. It wasn't random chaos. It was a strategy. He used a white van because it looked official. He claimed to be animal control because he knew children with pets would listen. He used a gun not just as a weapon, but as a psychological chain. He built an entire performance designed to trap the vulnerable. When prosecutors reviewed the case, they prepared charges of kidnapping, lewd acts upon a child, and the use of fear and force. Each charge carried heavy weight, and together, they painted the picture of a predator who had carefully crafted his methods. The trial itself was a painful but necessary process. The victim, with incredible courage, recounted her story again. The defense tried to cast doubt, but the facts, the van, and the consistency of her testimony were undeniable. Cascante's mask was permanently torn away. For Highland, the trial was more than a legal proceeding. It was a reckoning. Parents realized how easily trust could be exploited. Schools launched new safety talks. Community groups organized workshops on stranger danger, emphasizing that authority isn't always what it seems. But the story doesn't end with fear. It ends with resilience. That little girl, despite the trauma, became a voice of survival. Her decision to speak up ensured that Guillermo Cascante would no longer roam free. And her bravery reminded everyone that silence is the predator's greatest ally, while truth is their greatest enemy. The case sparked broader discussions across the state. Experts urged families to rehearse scenarios with their children. What do you do if someone claims to be from the police or animal control? What if they offer candy or ask for help finding a dog? Parents learned to give their kids a simple, powerful rule. Check with me first. Predators depend on compliance. They crumble when children are empowered to question, to resist, to scream, and to run. In the end, Cascante was no longer the man in disguise. He was the man in prison. His freedom stripped away, his lies exposed, his mask broken. And while his victim's wounds may take a lifetime to heal, her strength and her survival changed the narrative. Because the truth is, evil hides in plain sight. But awareness shared in homes, schools, and communities, can stop it before it strikes again. The story of Guillermo Cascante is a chilling reminder of how predators exploit innocence, and how communities must stay vigilant to protect their children. As haunting as this tale is, it carries an important lesson. Awareness can save lives. If you found this deep dive eye-opening, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Talk about it. Teach your children and loved ones how to recognize danger, even when it wears the mask of trust. And if you want more true crime stories that not only reveal the darkest sides of humanity, but also shed light on the strength of survivors, subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button, leave a comment with your thoughts, and join us next time as we uncover more chilling cases from the shadows of reality. Because sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones that look just like us.